as we saw. I just think that had a little.
Crazy good team. Actually, Sable set up Heroes like a world.
That last big Phoenix, that last little bit of team fight they needed. T1 looking to make it a 3-game series.
Good gameพี่ดี
Thank you, Tsunami. Here we are, Game 2, upper bracket semifinals, and at the AniMajor, both these teams tried to make sure we followed the plot with as many characters as possible. We got the Terrorblade Luna and the Davion in the first round of the draft. What story do you think we are going to see unfold in this game?
I'm not too sure, Brian. I mean, I've probably got to go the way of the Quincy crew lineup after seeing how well they're able to break through the games that T1 were trying to play against them last time. I mean, this time around, as the panel said, T1, they've definitely got more of the team fight. I think we're going to see a lot more action. But the fact that Quincy crew were able to find the way out of game 1, I think T1's definitely going to have quite the test for them here. Surely the Terrorblade can be strong, but I'm seeing a lot of punch and magical explosions that are going to be coming out of Quincy crew's heroes that could threaten Savage early on. We're seeing this early move already, actually heading over towards the area of 23 Savage, and they're actually going to be able to find the opening here. If they're leading, looking for some body blocks. I don't want to skill up on Quinn, of course, doesn't want to get anything here to get the grab on 23 Savage, saving for the lane. So just a bit of pressure, pushing 23 Savage back here to start things off. But yeah, I've got to say, I think we're going to see a lot of action from Quincy crew. I'm excited to see T1 answer it head on this time. But I think it's going to be hard for them.
Begins.
Yeah, now, Owen, this is a game where I think you can agree with me. I would not want to play carry. Both teams early rounded their carries, and Luna's up against a Doom, which I never liked playing against, and then the Terrorblade, he's up against ET, which he picked it into, Dark Seer, and Ember, and even the Hoodwink with all this long-range magic damage on top of the ET aura. I can't imagine how they're going to stay alive at all in these mid-to-late game team fights.
Absolutely, I think it's going to be such a hard game for Savage. It's going to be a huge test for him, pretty much in all aspects of the game. I don't know which bit it's going to start to be easy for him. The laning onwards, and we'll see here the decision for Quincy crew. They're going to start, in fact, with UR farming up on this top lane, so they can really get that extra pressure in onto 23 Savage, utilize that ability of LOA just getting in his face. MSS is going to stick around, play around with Whitemon, leaving the 1v1 down here to go. Well, okay, so I guess Zephyr's going to stick around with Cuckoo, but Leslau should be relatively fine here on his own as the Darkseer down in the safe lane. In the mid lane matchup, Quinn against Karl. They've got to watch out for this Ember Spirit, the master tier Ember Spirit, of course, coming out from Quinn. Should have a pretty decent lane. I don't think he's going to suffer too much against Karl in the 1v1. And then once he's hitting that 6 and running across the map, you got to sort of ask yourself, will T1 actually have enough lockdown to really deal with it? I mean, their main control, what is it, a Dragon Tail and a Doom? You know, it's not a lot, so a lot of availability for Quinn to just dance across the action.
Yeah, I think the first couple volleys of ultimates coming out from T1 will be quite deadly, as we do see a 2-man bushwhack. Doesn't gonna amount to anything, but in the mid to early game, the team fights, yes, they're not gonna have any items to deal with these ults, but I think this must be the best Lotus Orb Linken's game I've ever seen, as if you look at the 3 demon cores, or the 2 demon cores in the Davion, we got ourselves all single target, the Sunder, the Doom, the Dragon Tail. If they can get these items online, heroes like the Ember are gonna have so much damage just from the Flame Guard as well as the ET Aura and the Ion Shell, that I think they can afford to itemize purely defensively, and it should be quite easy for them to execute these fights.
Top lane, 23 Savage. He's getting punched out of this here. I mean, it's massively struggling to really get CS at all on this top lane. Just 3 and 2 on 23 Savage right now as Quincy crew maintain full control of this top lane matchup here. Wow. 11 for 7, 12 for 7, completely free farming and just shutting down anything really going the way of 23 Savage. I mean, for T1, do you have to sort of make alterations here? How do you rectify this incredibly tough start for your Terrorblade?
It's just going to be early rotations for kills, maybe even forcing pressure on the bottom lane, but the thing is, DK, usually elects to skip his Flame Breath in lane. So yes, you are tanky, yes, you are sustaining, but you don't have a way to outpush the Darkseer to get to this tower. And just in case Jenkins is watching, we have questioned his knowledge of aggro tri-lanes. Ursa, not the best aggro tri-laning hero. On the other hand, Luna, one of the most historically common carries to be putting in the offlane, because not only are you incredibly item dependent to accelerate your own farm, but you also have an aura that buffs up your entire team, and Terrorblade hates dealing with tri-lanes, so it's just such a win-win for Quincy Crew. And because they have such little rotation capabilities on the side of T1 this early on, I think they kind of just have to accept it.
Yeah, I mean, top lane, it's very rough here for T1. Mid lane, as we're seeing, well, actually, eyes on top of it, they might get a kill. Actually, won't be able to find the stomp connection, so Zephyr and Whitemon should be fine backing off. He's bringing an extra backup, having both supports around to try and manage to find some space here for Savage against this tri-lane of Quincy Crew. Yeah, other lanes, mid lane, Quinn continue to keep a strong lead against Karl. The bottom lane, that's where the good news is at the moment for Team. Cuckoo, he is having a fantastic time. I mean, there we have it, finally able to even get a kill out of this. As the support, the appearance from T1, it's not really making too much of a difference. If anything, turning up into this lane, it is just giving these sort of opportunities for Quincy Crew to start picking up kills on top of the lane control.
Yeah, it certainly will not make a difference if MSS continues to land two-man bushwhacks with level 1 bushwhacks. So that's impressive stuff coming out from him. I know he's been playing it a lot, but the Phoenix being level 3 so early in comparison to the levels of the tri-lane, because he was only dual laning bottom, looked like it was going to give them a bit of momentum, but they overextended on the side of T1. And yes, they may be able to win the trade battle with the harass from the Phoenix and the heal from the Warlock, but they have really no kill threat, and that's the only issue Luna's really concerned about in lane because she trades so well. And MSS being the only stun in that entire lane is proving what the importance of having a single stun in a tri-lane can be.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
See Zephyr trying to chase away MSS. He's going to come in with the dive onto MSS. MSS got some stick charges. Zephyr, he's going to try for the TP out, but they've got the damage. Quinn's got the 6, drops the remnants down. That's a kill for Quinn here in the mid lane as Zephyr, he stands no chance of escape. Another death here on the Phoenix is not really having the greatest of time finding a place to be. Quincy Crew dealing very well with his presence.
Yeah, now this is a picture I'm all too familiar with. Quinn free farming the mid lane as the opponent has been booted into the jungle. Doom, usually me in this case, just in case you guys were wondering. Not the sustain we used to remember. Yes, he has the bottle, but that Devour no longer giving you that HP regen. Quinn electing to max out that Sleight of Fist. He's still a mediocre armor hero, has been pushed away entirely. And Ember Spirit's really only weakness I can see as a mid laner is those early levels 1 through 6. And because he's getting out of that scot-free with the enabling from a Darkseer who is by himself, yes, not getting the best CS, Leslau, but he is already level 5, and he should be able to enable his own game by playing around Quinn. I'm going to be looking for these two to be connecting as soon as possible.
See Quinn not quite able to get that DD rune. Karl was able to control him with the Purge. Picked up from the Banisher.
You lost.
Lots of value.
Quinn back to lane. Yeah, but yeah, it's a good job that DD didn't go into the hands of Quinn, otherwise Quinn would definitely be cleaning up some kills across the map. Karl able to at least hold that back from him.
Is under attack.
Yeah, Cuckoo level 6, pressuring bottom.
Two of them not likely to be able to do too much aggressively onto Cuckoo. They're going to try. But, he is rather tanky with 3 points in Elder Dragon. Sorry, in the Dragon's Blood. They can't kill this man. He's able to walk it off.
Yeah, that stun looks a lot scarier when used on 2 supports than it does on the DK.
He's going to find himself somewhere else to get involved. Bottom lane, nothing too aggressive is going to be successful onto the DK, at least until Quinn starts to make his moves. Going to allow Zephyr to try and soak up some XP in the mid lane to start catching up on the levels. Karl going straight for the hood this game after the phase, making sure that he can build himself to a point where heroes like Quinn won't be able to blow him up.
Yeah, Quinn, he's not necessarily gonna kill anybody with this skill build, but he can play on their side of the map with impunity as long as he pushes Remnant before he gets doomed. They don't have any instant disables that are gonna catch him off guard because the DK doesn't have a blink or anything yet. He's gonna TP top.
He is. They've got the stomp set up onto Savage. Savage, he's got no escape from this. Quinn just running him down. They've got a bit of a heal coming in. Quinn, he's gonna have another slight in a second. That'll do the job. 23 Savage cut down here by Quinn's rotation.
Yeah, this is exactly where Quinn... This is where he's feeling himself, man. He's 2-0, mid lane, 52 CS, 8 minutes into the game. Ember Spirit, any of the spirits really, as he's already back mid.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Zephyr did have the dive, but as you say, just this pressure. Zephyr really wants to try and get some XP out of this lane, but every time he turns up, he's getting beat right back out of it. Top, trying to chase down onto Yuar. Good stomp comes out to Karl then from LOA. Make sure that Karl isn't able to close the gap and get on top of Yuar with the do.
Yeah, really nice disengage there. As Quinn gonna keep pressuring this mid lane. Phoenix, Zephyr doing a good job of slowing this down. Quinn's not exactly looking to take the tower, but he's going to wear and tear it down. Already down a third HP. Not quite the mid lane pressure we've been seeing in a lot of these games so far in the major. Doom versus Ember, really no tower threat, but the idea that you force the Doom mid like he is here allows him to make this rotation on the Terrorblade. When do Savage has to be careful. Just getting zoned out.
Yeah, he's straight out of this area of the map. He knows if he gets anywhere close to Quinn +1, they're going to suffer. As again, a good hold here from LOA. Karl tries to step up each and every time these stomps coming into play, making it very hard for Karl to just find an opportunity to utilize the early ultimate, get any sort of action going. Quinn, he's got his eyes straight back on top. White Moth underneath the tower as QCY they're pushing in. Quinn is going to be ready to move in. With the three of them, there's no escape for White Moth. Quinn able to get himself involved and another piece of action. Another kill here for the roaming Ember Spirit as Quinn sweeps up and down the map, keeps himself on par here with the farm of the Doom with the amount of money that he's getting from these rotations.
You can see why Effie mentioned why Quinn was going to get a Spirit hero in this last pick, because they don't have the hero on T1 to counter these rotations. Quinn can just pick and choose wherever he wants to go. No support, not even a core is going to be safe underneath their own towers, and this should lead to map momentum on the side of Quinn's position.
I mean, again, you know, they're doing this, just slowing down Karl's plays every time. LOA will die for this, but the turnaround's coming in. Quinn and Leslie ready to run him down. They've got the backup, TPing, in fact, Supernova as well. So Quinn, who'll jump away, they won't stay underneath the sec. After the pressure they force. Even though LOA dies, again, just a stomp, holding him back. The Doom was dropped down onto Yuar. They couldn't follow up with any further damage as LOA once more continues to keep his cause safe.
It's so important that he's doing that. You can see, we saw it last game. We saw MSS tanking the ganks. This time around, we see SVG or LOA disengaging the ganks. It's such a crucial part of the way QCY plays the game, and they're the best at it, if you ask me.
Dire's bottom
is a
tower.
solid
Radiant
unit.
tower scanning.
Quinn, of course,
Still
going
down,
straight
though.
for the Maelstrom this game. What Savage is working on, he's working on his Dragon Lance into the SMY, of course, nothing too surprising there. Good levels on Zephyr though, that move. He's got the level 7, so we'll have a bit more team fight presence then. I have Karl in the mid lane, the 2 of them. MSS has hit the 6, so got a good bit of burst damage to throw into the plays that they make. Especially so once Quinn starts to get a few points into the chains, they'll have solid setup. MSS to get in the damage from afar.
There's kind of a bit of the Alchemist effect going on here, I think. T1 up by 1k, but a lot of it's on this Doom with that Devour Gold, basically a free Midas. A lot of the Dooms we've been seeing do go for the Midas, but he's elected to make sure he can keep up with the rotations of Ember, at least slightly in the survivability sense. If he didn't have a hood, he would have gone down top, so Midas would have probably backfired there. But if he's the #1 net worth, eventually Terrorblade's going to have to carry his weight, and I don't know how he's going to do that if he doesn't have a second core that QCY has to worry about. And with this hood, he's not exactly a threat on the side of Karl.
Sure, like they're not blowing him up, but yeah, if they can just play around him, stop him from being able to find the opportunities to drop the Doom down on Yuar or Quinn, the impact from the Doom is not going to be too hard for Quincy Crew to deal with when it comes to these 5v5s. That Quincy Crew is, of course, going to look to try and bring, as we saw last time, their ability to fight as a team, definitely a huge strength when it comes to the mid-game plays. Stop, Quinn. Set up on the two of them. Zephyr is trying to get his way out. They're going to get the jump in with the Dragon Tail. Supernova out as well. They're trying to drop the collar, but again with the slide fist. Out. Quinn, he's able to break away from both ults. It's Quinn. He's out of it all. The chaotic offering of Supernova, it doesn't matter. Quinn's able to dance away. He's got LOA coming in from the side. He's going to drop down the stop of the ultimate on towards Cuckoo. As Quinn, he's ready for round 2. Comes back and he's reset. He's got mana to play with. Karl is charging in onto LOA, so LOA will fall. Quinn's still going to try and get back in there. Zephyr getting cut down super low from these slide fists. Quinn's going to have his Flame Guard up in a few seconds. He might want to run back in with it. As the Flame Guard's back up, another jump in with the slider fist. I mean, he knows once sort of the positioning of T1 is shown, it's very hard for T1 to get a catch on him. And T1, even though they have the numbers, they have to sort of back away.
Yeah, Doom relies on walking in and getting that Doom off, and you're dealing with wall, ET stop, Hurtling spells, searing chains. It's just frustrating as they do get the initiation again.
Look at the catch on Les now. Les now, he'll go down. It's doing a lot here for Karl.
That's a super value purge. You mentioned it on the Flame Guard, but you have it on the Ion Shell, the Surge, even the ET Spirit buff. This might legit be the most value purge creep game in Doom history.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be getting rid of this one. Yeah, absolutely. So many moves that Karl can get done with this. Definitely solving some of the problems that they're having in these fights. So while saw this action's been going on at the top, Ywa continuing to go unhindered down bottom, but the same to be said for Savage. At the moment, still Ywa slightly ahead of the Terrorblade, but only about 1k gold in it between the two characters.
Yeah, the carry-to-carry matchup does go in favor of 23 Savage, so I've been talking about all these things that are going to make it difficult for him to carry, but if Doom and DK can throw themselves in the fray and 23 Savage getting all this space on the map to get the necessary items, that's how you deal with counters, just get a lot of items. And it seems simple, but not so easy to execute, but T1 doing a great job so far. I'm really liking the way both teams are playing. I think they're both really catering towards their win conditions, and it's really just going to come down to who jumps who later on in the game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So when it comes to that, you said the carry versus carry edge, the 23 Savages, you think, but for the most part, T1, they're not going to be in too much of a rush to proactively look for plays on Quincy Crew's side of the map. It's going to be more reactive from them.
This is a really hard game to gauge how both teams want to play as a carry player, because usually you're just like, do I win the late game matchup one-on-one? As we see Leslau doesn't get the purge off. I think he purged himself.
I think he might have. I don't think it's going to, or maybe it will matter actually with Leslau with these jukes now. Well, Cuckoo, he manages to find him, gets in with the Dragon Tail stun, they catch Leslau under the combo.
Okay, mid lane, they still have more ultimates. Warlock Golem, Doom, they're all here. Good awareness from Quincy Crew to back off, but they're just shutting down everything.
Go. Cuckoo's in, Dragon Tail into the chaotic offering. This time they're able to stack them up perfectly.
Radiant's
Two lockdowns enough to catch Quinn off guard and take him down whilst he's low.
Radiant.
Okay. T1, these are clean rotations. They have limited stuns, but they're utilizing the DK stun. We're seeing what this first round DK allows you to do with your draft. When you look at the other 4 heroes and you remove the DK from the equation, I'd ask myself, like, how the hell did these guys get anything done? But the instant Dragon Tail with the blink is enabling their lineup so hard, and they're able to turn it into objectives every single time because of that Terrorblade meta. We're seeing the potency of their lineup.
Oh, LOA. Oh, he's found himself in a bit of a nightmarish position, surrounded by the 4 of T1 there in the river. He's not getting home safely as they'll take out the ET. Another kill to be added here to the scoreboard of T1.
These are definitely some heroes I would see in my nightmares. You got 3 demons on the side of T1.
Yeah, it's a spooky lineup. Same with the space now. MSS, he's starting to catch up and going for the Maelstrom this time round, so he's going to have some good scalability himself, in fact, on the Hoodwink.
I would be surprised if more heroes itemized to carry, just based on how many anti-carry heroes there are in this game.
If you're able to sort of split the Yeah, the scalability, the ability to hold your own, yeah. It's going to make the decision a lot harder for heroes like Karl, who's really needs to sort of save the Doom for, who's worth being thrown down. And off to the side, they'll get Zephyr with the stop, see if they can blow him up. They certainly can. They line up the shot, and MSS, he's in with the finishing blow there.
Is under attack.
Bale plus ET Aura. That every single spell is going to hurt that much more.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
In the river, Quinn, he's going to get caught again. They've got the Dragon Tail into the Doom. They've got to try and get Quinn out of there, but this time round, I don't know if they'll be able to do so. The Fatal Box bringing him down. They've got the kill, but the counterplay, Eloy's in with the stomp onto 2, as they'll run down Karl and Cuckoo. They're actually going to go for the split here. Karl's having to get out to the side. Cuckoo will be found here with a bushwhack. Bring down Cuckoo. Give themselves the opportunity to turn now back over towards the tier 1 tower. With Yua's presence, they will manage to keep pushing in. They have got Supernova on T1. They can actually look for a defense here, and yeah, Zephyr getting in aggressively, pushing them back. Be able to buy themselves a little more time here with the tier 1 towers. Quincy crew, they're backing off completely. Yua doesn't want any part of this. He knows that they still have a very solid team fight ready to throw out. He'll resume to farm and get working on getting this BKB done.
Seems so difficult to play these mobile heroes like Ember Spirit against the DK. He got surged in there, and the surge is meant to be the way they deal with Doom. The idea of Darkseer usually being pretty decent against Doom, even though they did pick the Doom to deal with the Darkseer, is that you have to Doom the Darkseer, because otherwise your teammate gets surged, similar to a Centaur Stampede from across the map. Because they used it to get him in there, suddenly he's dead in the water.
As you say, you know, Lincoln's Sphere is going to be the item of the game, and he needs it. You know, last few times, Dragon Tail has been the death of Quinn when he's positioned aggressively. So, crew may be falling back on just getting that done. So, Yua, he'll want the BKB for the next fight. 23 Savage, his progress also similar territory towards his BKB after the Dragon Lance S and Y. So, he's going to be very solid himself when he stands on the front in these fights. His bottom. Sweep over towards Karl, and these movements that we've come to get very used to from Quincy crew, where they'll move around as 5, looking to fight and ensure that Yua is able to find these safe spots to farm him. Zephyr will be caught in the river. We'll see if Quinn can force out maybe the Supernova. He's trying his best with the poke of the Slight Fist. In fact, he's getting in with the Remnant. Really wanting to get that Supernova out of him. The stomp comes out to hold back 23 Savage. They'll drop the Golem, but Quinn, he's not quite in range of the Supernova stuns. So Quinn, he's got no Remnant left though. Another Slight Fist. He was going to be poked out. He has one left laid down inside the triangle actually of T1 that will jump over towards. He's got the TP, but Savage on top of him, he's got the damage he has, and Quinn, he makes it out of there. He's back to base. Quinn, with some beautiful moves, pokes out the Supernova response from T1. The Golem as well. He gets away with it. He doesn't die, Brian.
That was simply epic. That's a master tier Ember Spear right there. Knowing his limits.
I mean, that really is.
He remnanted back into them just because they had chased him so far at that point. It was his only resource left. Really cool play.
No, Wojciech didn't have any more to throw out. It was already set and done, the one that he was heading to, and it's enough. Dances his way out of danger, Quinn.
Every avoidance of death that he can have leading up to this Lincoln Sphere is so crucial, because it just becomes so much more difficult for T1 to ever jump him, because that blink stun from the DK is required. They don't have easy ways to break that Lincoln. Cuckoo might consider something like a Halberd with his Ogre Club, but the thing is, he needs a BKB because they just have so much magic damage and control on the side of Quincy crew.
No, they really do. T1, they will try and make a hit here with the Blink Doom ready to go. Karl.
2 BKBs.
Who can?
They have literally no damage on the side of Quincy crew through these BKBs. They cannot take this fight. They'll have to disengage once those BKBs are popped.
Invisibility. Cuckoo got the outer dragon form. He's ready to go in. He's going to jump in aggressively onto Quinn. He get caught out with the push. I think he's going to be able to blow him up. He doesn't even get the chance to get the BKB off. The damage for Quincy crew's explosive lineup. I mean, the HP just disappeared, Brian. Not much of a Dragon Knight at all. They're ready for what? They're going to put the end, but you want him with the BKB. They can just focus the Supernova. The Supernova's going to come to an end. The They'll step over towards Savage. Savage
Dire's
trying to hold his
bottom
ground with the
tower is
BKB. They
under
will
attack.
respect him here, Quincy Crew. As they'll step out, but 3 heroes dead. Quincy Crew, the damage coming out from these heroes, my goodness. You've got to be ready for it if you're T1. 1 stun, and you're literally dead.
Yeah, he was looking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs there as he was hungry, too hungry, one may argue, as he blinks in, holding the BKB, and once he goes down, they have no stuns on T1. Quincy Crew is absolutely afraid of nothing. You can see that he is so paramount to them being able to execute properly, getting the catches out, and being able to actually dish out damage in the entire lineup of T1. Net worth lead's still in their favor, pretty much the same as it was before. Pretty shocking, but those BKB durations are already going down. Fortunately for DK, because he did not press his, he still got that 9-second BKB.
Yes, yeah, the big brain play will tell you on that. Saving it for next time.
The reverse
no
Chinese
doubt that-
BKB.
Yeah. We'll see if next time Cuckoo's able to get it off us. If you're not able to press the
Dire's
BKB in these
bottom
fights, you
tower
will
is
not
under attack.
be able to live to tell the tale here against Quincy Crew.
What's the next
Stop
objective
looking
is
for
the
Quinn.
question.
Karl. In the trees. Find the opening. He starts to try and get some war control back. Cuckoo's going to be in with the job. Swinging over with Zephyr. Zelaway's looking pretty dead here. No efforts here for Quincy Crew to fight back. He can actually pop from Karl there as he tries to release himself so he can close in on Quinn with the Doom. But Quinn, again, just has Remnant set up. Not leaving any chance here for Karl to get the Doom down onto the Ember Spirit. Quinn continues to dance on the very edge of his reach. Very close to having the Lincoln Sphere done, so it's not going to get any easier for T1. Yeah, they really want to keep on punching, but this fight, of course, will be taken with the BKB of Karl on cooldown, so he's got to be careful. Now get the jump.
No meta.
Onto MSS. Column dropped as well. And look over towards it, but oh, you're why? He was quick with the BKB. Very quick with the BKB, gets it off before the Doom's down, also gets Surge back. They'll turn towards Leslau. Supernova's down, Leslau burning to the Sun Ray of the Phoenix. He will die, so T1 there, able to get the 2 of them. Crew want to try and fight 3 versus 5. They may just do so, why? He's heading in with the Eclipse, he's ready to go. Cuckoo, he's trying to stand his ground with the BKB, he's going to go for the TP out. Will manage to make it away, Quinn. He's hot on the heels of Karl. Chasing down the Doom, he's going to have Chains in a second here with a sleight of fist. Quincy Crew can get a grab out of this, but he's away. The blink up just in time. Zephyr's going to go for the TP away. He's
Dire's
also out of it.
middle
No
tower is
catch
under
for the Phoenix. T1, they'll be able to get him with the hit, and they'll get out of there.
They had no Metamorph and no BKB on Doom, and they still took a favorable engagement. Even if they don't have all of their spells, they just have so many spells. And Quincy Crew, quite frankly, isn't that great at dealing with this crap that T1's dumping on the ground, such as the egg, the golem. They have a lot of AoE hero damage, but it's not the best against summons or buildings.
Cuckoo. Step and get that invis. Catch up with the chains on the high ground. LOA trying
The
to stop
purge.
control.
It's even a defensive purge for the chains. I mentioned all the ways he could use it offensively, but he just immediately removes the chains from his allies.
I mean, Quincy Crew, they're looking at the Roche shot. I don't know if they can walk in for this. Taking Roche does not seem an option. The Bond's down onto the 4 of them as well.
Radiant's middle
They
tower is
can't
under
go for the
attack.
objective whilst T1's up. T1 will more than happily take a fight around the pit. Supernova soon to be back up. 20 seconds for Zephyr.
I don't know how I feel about this Axe for Leslau, because it's so important that you keep the ion shells on the target because it gives them that extra HP, but they have so many ways to remove it, just with the Doom Purge from the ultimate as well as the Purge Creep. So if he gets doomed on the cores that have the ion shell on them, this Axe is basically wasted. It is going to help him push a lot of different lanes, so maybe he's going for the acceleration into future items, which we're seeing he's queuing up the Greaves. The sustain game for Quincy Crew is going to be so important because it seems like they're not having too hard of a time surviving that initial volley, but then they're not healthy enough to be able to fight afterwards, so then T1's then able to chase them down. So if they can be even just half HP or so afterwards, they'll be able to stand their ground.
Oh, mid. They're going to set up on a Cuckoo. They've got the stun control, and they're going to have damage. They do once again. They blow up Cuckoo. As with that kill, they'll be able to have no struggles running down one. A couple of kills for Yawar. I mean, once again, it's just one stun and you are dead. Quincy crew, they're ready to chase down for more. 2 kills achieved. They want to get more out of this. Karl and Zephyr been scanned out here by Quinn. Find Karl with Sleight of Fist. Quincy crew, they'll turn towards the Roshan instead. It's T1. See if they're able to contest this. 23 Savage hovering around the pit. Quinn is going to have an arcane ring ready for the next fight. Could be a scary one for T1 to take. Karl's waiting outside the pit. Does have the blink BKB ready to go with Quinn. Doing his best to force them back away from it all. Karl, he's in. Does manage to pop the Lincolns and get Surge. Drop down onto Quinn.
Surge.
They'll try and get Quinn out to the side. He is going to be protected by Yawar's presence again. MSS, another bit of great control here from the Hoodwink. 800 damage. Acorn shot. Bushwhack's out. It's doing Karl. He's jumping back in on this, but the Dooms come to an end. Quinn is able to the slide off. Once more, MSS with this Acorn shot at Bushwhack holds Karl back. Karl has to run here with the BKB. He can't continue to push on. As MSS, he's really having some beautiful angles here as the Hoodwink.
Yeah, you don't need too many stuns if you can kill them in one. That is what I am learning from Quincy Crew's lineup, as the Veil plus ET Aura, they don't have too many nukes, but every nuke just does so much damage. And the Enchanted Quiver as well for Quinn, so that's just an extra 300 damage nuke on there. Scotty, Parablade, he's farmed. All the cores are pretty farmed.
Savages, yeah.
Okay, 4-step on DK. I don't think I've ever seen that. Is that? Oh, that's just to break the Lincolns. That's kind of cool. Good against the chains, good against the ET ultimate and the sleep for himself and his teammates. And it also breaks the Lincolns. Okay. I like these small adjustments in items.
Quincy crew very ready to proactively take some fights here. They'll smoke up towards the Roche. Want to go for a kill first. They do. Elaway putting out things in the high ground. They've caught Cuckoo again. He's not going to get the chance to get the BKB involved. The force out the side. He'll break himself away from the combo. And this time round, gets the BKB off. He will manage to escape. In fact, he's ready to look to get back in on there. They'll look towards Quinn. Get the Dragon Tail stun off. No Doom available for 30 seconds. The run back in over towards Karl. Karl holding onto the BKB himself. To keep his cool, won't be pressured to use it. Over on the side, 23 Savage, he's able to wrap around, find MSS. Now with a man down, Quincy crew, they're going to head back. The Supernova's going to be pocket one. He immediately turns with the BKB, holds his ground, takes down the egg, turns towards Cuckoo. Cuckoo will fall. Yawar, he's so low, but he's actually able to bring Karl down. Karl, he's out to the side, but Yawar goes out. They will manage to take the fight here. T1 is Savage. He's too strong. They can't kill this Terrorblade. Elaway has to run. He's going to drop the stomp with the sleep to hold back 23 Savage. Glimmer came with the TP. Will he make it away? This damage is too high. 23 Savage. 3 hits from the Terrorblade. Clean up the fight, T1. They'll be able to get the Roche as well.
This set on TB might be a life hack because I couldn't even tell he was double damaged until I looked at, I clicked on him. 23 Savage had a double damager in that entire time, and it just only illuminates at like the very bottom of his character model. And I don't even know if Quincy crew is fully aware. You can look at this fight, I barely see it.
I mean, there's a lot of chaos going on, but I mean, you're right. Amongst the BKB and the effects, it's hard to see what's going on here from Savage. But he certainly knows what's happening, Savage. MSS still able to keep the spirits high here despite dying at the start of the last fight. I mean, and all in all, they may have lost the team fight, but they managed to start to get back over towards the pit before Roche fall. Quinn, can he look for a steal? He's going to head into the pit. They put the Lincoln. Quinn, he's able to do it! He's able to do it, Quinn! He gets the kill. He's out with the Remnant. He takes the Aegis. Quinn with a great steal. Well, not just a steal, the kill as well. Quinn, he takes the glory here away from T1 right underneath their noses.
Yeah, SCA getting a little taste of their own medicine. We saw TNC take a victory because of a Aegis snatch by RML super late. Now this one's not, I would say, as game-changing as that one, but damn, what a play by Quinn. It may very well decide the victor of this game, because it's more so if they let Terrorblade have Aegis, he'd be able to navigate fights so much more easily and more so play the map more aggressively. And slowly but surely, I think this Luna would fall behind and farm, but wow, what a sick player. We saw it there again, as it's going to allow him to play with the Ion Shell on him and be willing to tank the Doom for the sake of his team, where we're kind of seeing him evade the Doom, which is great and all, but then it's getting thrown onto Yawar or Leslau. And now he's going to be able to run in with impunity.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Very good about that one. Quinn setting up things in the mid. They're hitting onto Cuckoo. Back in when the walls drop down. Cuckoo just dying here to the illusion. He's got to put the BKB and run. He'll manage to get out of the side, Quinn. See if they can get him the once. As Yawar is coming from the side of Karl. Put the BKB to get himself away from this eclipse. All right, Quinn's going to be ready for round 2. Karl continuing to run. They're ready to chase the gap here with the remnant. Not quite able to find Karl with the sleight of fist, though. So Karl, he'll manage to blink away.
Okay, so Yawar looks like he's going for the hybrid build on Luna. I don't know how I feel about this, to be frank, because they have no way to deal with BKBs, and I would have considered maybe a Scotty for him and the movement speed talents, but I think he's relying on the shard eventually later because it's going to be hard to get into the fights, and I think he's also saying that maybe we can't win the fights during their BKBs anyways. Let's be able to kite them a bit better, and then my Lucent Beams can go to town. I like this idea. It seems weird in theory, but I think he's onto something.
What have we here?
Let's see what T1 can get with the smoke. No Doom, of course, for a good minute on Karl. Going to be a fight built around the other team fight ultimates. Quincy crew looking relatively prepared for this, though. They're all here, the 5 of them around this tier 2 mid.
Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
Full MKB on 23 Savage, already counteracting the MKB from the Luna. It's a nice item as well against the Darkseer. Doesn't really benefit his illusions at all. Does give them a bit of attack speed, but it's really important that if you can, without screwing yourself over, to not make that wall illusion even stronger.
T1 will just settle here for the tier 2 bottom.
Radiant's
The
bottom
push.
tower has fallen.
Mr. Crew not looking to get involved in it quite yet. You are ideally getting a Satanic done before the next fight that they're forced into. Quinn as well.
Dire's middle tower
600
is under
gold
attack.
off the Aghanims. Make sure that purchase is complete before he feels forced to fight him. This wave of the tier 2 tower top should be able to close the gap on the goals here that they're looking towards Quincy Crew.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And more
Dire's
Lotuses,
top
more
tower
Lincoln
is
Spheres.
under attack.
We need more of them.
That's gonna be
Hoodwink's got one queued up.
See out of the way. He's got 1600 gold, so very likely that he also might get something as the swords to try and play
Radiant's
around these
middle
single
tower
target
is under
spells
attack.
that T1's throwing out in the action.
He's almost got the eggs.
Dire's top tower
That's going to be pretty
is under
important for his
attack.
map mobility. He's having a little bit of problems with limits on his remnants here. They are
Full
able to
defense coming in
disengage.
from T1.
Yeah,
Quincy
looks like
Crew, they're poked in the south.
Coin of the realm.
Just sticking around the area, Quincy Crew. MSS maybe seeing if he can get a catch on anyone that steps up to the wave. Zephyr's playing very cautiously. Staying behind the tier 2 tower. It is as low as it is. You're on this top lane. You want looking to also bait something out of this themselves. MSS, he'll show.
Radiant's
Gonna
bottom
lead straight away and onto Zephyr. He's gonna get the big hit first. Not quite enough to take Zephyr down. They'll turn with the gold dropped here. There's Yawar again, able to get the BKB off before the Doom was dropped down. MSS in the trees will go straight for the TP out. He's actually gonna stick around. Maybe see if they can look to turn this one around. A very good shot on the bootstrap, this time off the mark, because he won't get any control onto the two of them. Zephyr diving through the trees, hunting for MSS, but MSS continues to keep himself hidden. So at the end of it all, you know, Doom's been utilized, so is the Chaotic Offering.
Radiant's middle
Quincy
tower
Crew,
is under
they're able
attack.
to split, and nobody's going to fall to the effects of these big ultimates dropped by T1.
Yeah, smoke up. Leslau on point with those surge usages.
This is the time to hit back. You know, T1's not got their full repertoire of ultimates ready to throw in.
Under attack.
Already onto the side. Leslau, he's ready to go. The Supernova's going to be committed. Once more, it's going to be another ultimate. Quincy Crew simply can bait out, step to the side of. So now pretty much everything has been used here
Radiant's
by
middle tower is under
by
attack.
T1. Very little for QCY to be scared of in this next minute of play whilst these cooldowns are on.
But look at all these lanes being cut by Terrorblade illusions. Top lane was cut, middle lane's being pressured, the tier 2 might even go down, bottom lane's pushed in. It's not exactly efficient for them to be sitting here.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
No creeps.
Do need more. 23 Savage getting so far ahead. So
Radiant's
catch
middle
Whitemon,
tower is
another
under
nice
attack.
4-star, trying to break him out of the combo. Quinn's going to chase in on though. In with the Remnant, sets up for the Vision as Reward, drops down a beam, takes the life of Whitemon. Over the side, they call Karl. Again, another bit of control from MSS once more, locking down these heroes before they get anything off. No chance for a BKB or refresher to be used, as these quick catches from MSS just causing the death of hero after hero despite them having a BKB in their inventory.
Yeah, a little bit of discontinuity in the game plan for T1. There's a reason why 23 Savage has cut all those creep waves. There's just no reason for you to have to fight there, especially when all your ultimates are on cooldown. So it's understandable sometimes your support's gonna get caught out, but Karl, it's just, you can't go in as a core there. It's just not a good fight decision, as that's exactly what QCY wants. The lanes do not look good. They don't want to give up the one position of pressure they have on the map, and you just kind of give it to them. Will they be able to capitalize? That is the question. Roche is clearly the objective they want. Looks like it's going to start spawning potentially in the next minute to 4 minutes. And at least this time around, it's just letting his ultimate come off cooldown for Doom.
Dire's structures are fortified.
For the setup, this time Zephyr's out of the range of it.
Is under attack.
We'll get out, up to the high ground, he's fine. Space is here, the force out the fortification. T1, they'll have Doom back in the game in a few seconds, but the tier 2 is already gone. Another tower taken by QCY. 23 Savage playing on this bottom half. Karl's ready to come over and join him as well to make sure that he's kept fully safe. Level 23 on the Terrorblade. Satanic, BKB, Skadi. As we've seen in the last few fights, they pretty much had to ignore him. Killing 23 Savage is going to be incredibly difficult, even with all the amp up and buffs they do have for their burst. This Terrorblade is huge. Mid. Got the Doom down onto Les now. Back comes to the ready, MSS. Two-man bushwhack. They're going to chase down Leslau. Shiva's guard slow from Karl, and Leslau trying to hide. Any way to deny him? I mean, deny him. Or is it actually going to be enough for you? Oh, they believed in the regen, but it was not enough, and he does still end up ticking out to the damage from Karl's Doom.
Yeah, they
Radiant are scanning.
They are buying so many Lincoln Spheres. No Lotus Orbs. So what that's telling me is that QCY doesn't think it's good enough to reflect these spells. They think they have to block them entirely.
They're going to jump on Quinn. And here we go, Karl. He'd already prepped the second Doom with a refresher used in the jungle, so they have the catch for Quinn. Quinn's got. Huge jumps here from T1. They're ready to look towards the high ground. So, see what they do here. Savage, he's got the Metamorphosis ready to go. He's going to start chipping away at the tier 3 here. In the melee form, Quinn does have a buyback. Feels it's necessary. How well can QCY hold against the power of 23 Savage's Terrorblade? Tier 3 tower got. Quinn still holding on the buyback. T1. They're actually gonna back off, even though Quinn's not coming back into it. They'll respect the defensive potential of the rest of QCY, and they won't throw anything away here. It's overstaying their welcome. Roshan respawn couldn't really come at a better time here for T1. It is up now. If they check this pit in a second, we'll find it. Buyback comes out from Quinn. He does not want to let T1 get Roshan freely.
Might have been a bit hasty there. They were going to check it with ET. And maybe they were worried about how fast T1 could take it.
Top tower is under attack.
Not the fastest Roche lineup, though.
He's in. They want a Savage. Again, Acorn in the pushback. They got the first. They know BKB's able to get easily off from 23 Savages. Turns his attention over towards QCY. Hunts around the BKB and the Eclipse. They've dropped the Supernova. Lesnar trying to search his way out with the Dragon Tail's done it. Karl, he's in on top of QCY goes down. They've got the control on the Quinn as well. They've got him down. They completely keep him controlled. Quinn's out. Die back on the Ember Spirit. Both cores out. In fact, the Darkseer as well. A third core down. As that is going to be a huge window for T1 to get this Roshan to run down a lane as Quincy crew is down to the two poor old supports here to try and hold against the full power of T1. In fact, T1, they're saying, screw Roche, we're going to look to try and end it. We know there's no buyback on the Ember. This is a huge window for them to punish and do immense damage here to the base of Quincy crew.
He's got a rapier. 23 Savage is done with this game.
Yeah, he's ready to try and close it. And they're going to call it. They see the rapier, they know damage is done. There's no defense to be had here. As T1, they will manage to get their second game around the power of 23 Savage's big old Terror Blade. As fast and